Everything is fine. You know it's fine. Nothing bad is happening right now. Nobody is upset with you. You don't have a deadline breathing down your neck. The people you love are okay. And yet your body hasn't gotten the message. Your jaw is tight. Your shoulders are somewhere near your ears. There's a low hum of something in your chest that you can't name and can't turn off. And the harder you try to relax, the louder it gets. You've probably told yourself some version of, "I have no reason to feel this way," more times than you can count. And somehow that sentence, instead of helping, makes it worse. Here's what nobody tells you. That inability to relax isn't a character flaw, and it isn't irrational. It is your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. The problem isn't that your brain is broken. The problem is that your brain is running a protection program that was built for a world that no longer exists, and it has absolutely no idea you've moved on. Let's start with the science, because this is where it gets important. There's a concept in neuroscience called the default threat baseline, the level of alertness your nervous system settles at when it's not actively processing anything. For most people, that baseline is relatively low. For people who grew up in unpredictable, stressful, or emotionally inconsistent environments, that baseline gets calibrated higher, sometimes significantly higher during childhood. Neuroscientist Stephen Porges developed what's known as polyvagal theory, which explains that the nervous system isn't just an on-off switch between calm and panic. It's a constantly scanning surveillance system, running in the background of every moment of your life. Asking one question on repeat, "Am I safe right now?" For people whose early environments gave inconsistent answers to that question, the scanner never fully powers down. It learned that calm doesn't always mean safe. It learned that quiet is sometimes the warning before something bad happens. And it kept that lesson stored in the body long after the environment that taught it was left behind. Let's break down what that actually built in you. The first thing is hypervigilance, and it's worth understanding how sophisticated this actually is. Hypervigilance isn't just being anxious. It's a finely tuned threat detection system that runs constantly, scanning your environment for anything that might go wrong. The tone of someone's voice, the slight delay in a text reply, the moment a room goes quiet. You notice things that other people don't notice, process social information faster than most, and your body reacts to those signals before your conscious mind has time to evaluate whether the threat is real. Research in developmental psychology shows that children who grow up in unpredictable environments develop heightened sensitivity to subtle emotional cues as an adaptive response. In other words, your hypervigilance wasn't a mistake, it was intelligence. The issue is that the same radar that kept you safe then is now picking up signals in environments where there's genuinely nothing to detect, and treating the absence of a threat as suspicious rather than reassuring. The second thing is what researchers call anticipatory anxiety. And this one quietly runs more lives than most people realize. When your nervous system has learned that bad things can arrive without warning, one of the ways it tries to cope is by staying one step ahead, by imagining the bad thing before it happens, so it's never caught off guard. This looks like lying awake, rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet. It looks like preparing emotionally for the worst-case version of a situation that hasn't gone wrong. It looks like the inability to fully enjoy a good moment because part of your mind is already bracing for it to end. You're not a pessimist. Your brain is running a threat prevention strategy that it genuinely believes is keeping you safe. Because the one time you let your guard down in the past, something happened that made the guard feel necessary. The third thing is nervous system dysregulation, the gap between what your mind knows and what your body feels. You can know intellectually that you are safe. You can list every reason why nothing is wrong. Your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, reasoning part of your brain, can fully agree that the situation calls for calm. And your nervous system simply does not care. This is because threat responses are processed through the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, which operates faster than conscious thought and does not require logical justification to fire. When your amygdala has a long history of being activated, it develops what neuroscientists call a lower activation threshold. It takes less and less stimulus to trigger the alarm. This is why trying to logic your way out of anxiety rarely works. You can't argue with a smoke detector using facts about fire safety. The detector doesn't speak that language. The fourth thing is the relaxation paradox, the strange and cruel phenomenon where the act of trying to relax makes the anxiety worse. When you sit down, turn everything off, and try to be calm, your hypervigilant nervous system often interprets that stillness as a problem. The noise stops, the distractions disappear, and suddenly the body's background hum of stored tension, which the busyness was covering, becomes the loudest thing in the room. Some people discover for the first time that they've been anxious for years, only when they try to stop. They've been using constant activity as a pressure valve, and stillness removes it. Psychologists call this relaxation-induced anxiety, clinically recognized, widely experienced, and almost never talked about. If you've ever felt more anxious trying to meditate than you did in the middle of a busy day, this is exactly why. Now here's the honest part. Living with a chronically activated nervous system is exhausting in a way that's very hard to explain to people who don't experience it. It's not the sharp exhaustion of a bad day. It's a slow, deep fatigue that accumulates in the background of every ordinary moment. The tiredness of a body that never fully rests, a mind that never fully lands. And because nothing visible is wrong, it can be profoundly lonely. People around you see a person who seems fine, who functions well, who even appears calm on the outside. They don't see the internal machinery working overtime behind a quiet expression. That gap between how you look and how you feel is one of the loneliest parts of chronic anxiety. And it almost never gets named. But here's the reframe, and it matters. The fact that your nervous system is running this hard is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is evidence of how much you've been through and how seriously your brain took the job of keeping you alive through it. Your anxiety is not your enemy. It is a guard dog that never got told the war was over. The work isn't to silence it or force it to stop. That only makes it louder. The work is in slowly, gently, consistently giving your nervous system new evidence that calm is allowed. That rest is safe. That nothing bad happens when you let your shoulders drop. You can't update the system with a single good day. But you update it with 100 of them, one small piece of safety at a time. You've spent years functioning at a level of internal effort that other people don't even know is possible. The fact that you still show up, still build things, still love people, still move forward with a nervous system that hasn't been able to stand down. That is not weakness wearing a brave face. That is one of the quietest, most underrated forms of strength there is. If this finally explained something you felt in your body for years but never had words for, you are not the only one. Hit subscribe. There's a lot more about how your mind and body protect you waiting to be explained.